Well, we're so happy to have all of you wonderful ladies here. I don't know how willing all of you were, but I'm happy that you're all here. I feel like Alison was like, "You're coming."
And you'll notice I'm now on the radio too. So that's how unwilling they were.
Well, we're happy that you're here. We are going to talk a lot about our partnership with SourcePoint. In the second half of the show, we have some wonderful things coming up, not only for the rest of the summer, but we can even maybe tease just some of the things that we're doing this fall as well. We're so happy about all the things that we do with our partners here in Delaware County and especially in SourcePoint. But as always, we're going to talk a little bit about books and other things that are library related in the first half of the show. So I will begin with Jana. What have you read lately?
For me, it is The Summer of Pierce Brown.
Oh.
He is one of my favorite authors. So Pierce Brown has his 6th book in the Red Rising series coming out next week.
Oh.
I'm super excited for it. It's called Lightbringer. And the 3rd volume of his prequel graphic novels, Sons of Ares, just came out. I'm reading the prequels right now.
Uh-huh.
And again, they are graphic novels, but it's impossible to talk about those without talking about his original novel, Red Rising, which is one of my favorite sci-fi novels ever. It kicks off this incredible sci-fi series, action-packed, full of intrigue and politics and really interesting world building. But it's set in a future where humanity is trying to escape a dying Earth. You know, we know this trope.
This happens.
It does.
I
They
just
have
watched
ventured
it.
out
Yeah.
to other planets, and in this case, Mars. And through a combination of genetic engineering and a very restrictive caste system, every human belongs to a particular caste, and the Reds are the lowest of the low. And they're typically minors. The Golds are the ruling elite, and they are these, larger than life, literally larger than life humans.
Oh, right.
Like, 8 or 9 feet tall.
Because you talked about the genetic engineering.
Versus, yeah. So they are the ruling elite. But the story centers around a young Red named Darrow, and he's a minor. He's one of the Reds. And he believes that he and all of those people that came before him, all the Reds before him, are working to make Mars livable. And once they achieve this, they will have earned land up on Mars for their families to go forward and live happily forever after. Obviously,
Until
a barrel
dun, dun,
of
dun.
lies.
Yeah.
Barrel of lies. So Darrow learns the truth, and he's tapped by the resistance to be surgically altered to look like a Gold and infiltrate the ruling class.
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
Nobody saw that coming, right? But the books are really interesting because even though it's like in the far future, we are way more technologically advanced. Humans have still set up these very rigid and oppressive systems. And honestly, they create this really brutal society that they're, other than the lower castes, they're all, very willing to perpetuate. Mm-hmm. I will say that the novels are fairly bloody. They are not for the faint of heart. Mm-hmm. But if you are a fantasy or sci-fi fan, if you like Game of Thrones, you need to put these at the very tip top of your list.
Well,
they
Game of
are
Thrones is also
really,
very bloody,
really good.
I like it. What's the name? The author's name?
This one is Red Rising, right?
This is Red Rising by Pierce Brown, and then the prequel graphic novels are called Sons of Ares.
I love it when Mark writes down the book recommendations,
Yeah.
too. This is Mark Bingaman on the board. Good morning, Mark.
Hello
I'm
there.
sorry I missed you earlier.
Glad to be here.
But I love whenever
book recommendations.
you get
Love
into our
sci-fi.
recommendations,
Thank you.
too.
Me too.
It makes me so happy. Also, if you listen to this show, of course, we turn this into a podcast that releases on Monday, and we also include all of the books that we recommended in our show notes on our podcast. So download that wherever you listen to podcasts, Off the Shelf with Delaware Library. All right, Alison, I heard that you were the only one who was tapped to talk books this morning. So do you have a book that you would like to recommend?
I do. I feel like lately I've been through this mediocre series of, mystery thrillers. So the last really good book I read, like 5 out of 5 stars, is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
Yes.
And so I don't know if you've had a chance to read that before,
I've
but it's
not.
by V.E. Schwab. And it's a very interesting story. It really mixes a lot of genres. There's drama, there's romance, there's a lot of fantasy, almost sci-fi in it too. So it's a really interesting blend. It's basically about a girl who's cursed to be forgotten. So this girl, she's in 1714 France, and she comes upon this god, and she's cursed. She's made immortal. So The price that she has to pay for this immortality, though, is that everyone she meets forgets her.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
she has to travel through life, the next 300 years, and every single person she meets forgets her the minute she's out of sight.
Wow.
And so it really, the plot really takes a twist when 300 years later, she's been living this existence as a 20-something girl, and she meets someone who actually remembers her. And so that's when it really takes a twist. And it's a really interesting read.
And so I've started this book, but I haven't finished it. I'm a notorious book non-finisher. It's just because I've lost my loan, or I've had it on audiobook and I just haven't gotten as far as I've wanted to. But there's another interesting character who makes appearances throughout the book. The one who cursed her.
Luke, yes. He does make appearances throughout the book, and I tell you the ending, and of course I won't spoil it since you haven't been there yet, and I don't want to spoil it for any listeners either. But the ending definitely leaves you wanting more.
Yay!
So Luke and Addie come together at the end in a way that definitely leaves you wanting more. And I have no idea if Schwab plans to revisit these characters, but I wish she would.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you talked about this because I've had it on my list for a long time, but I haven't gotten to it yet.
Yes.
Now I'm going to move it up.
Yes. It was actually our CEO Farah who recommended this book to me, and I remember reading the synopsis and thinking, this just sounds bizarre. Like, what is this? It doesn't fit into any one category, but definitely worth it. The best book I've read probably in the last several years.
Oh, fun.
That's amazing.
That's a great review. Thank you, Allison. Well, I wanted to give a quick plug to one of our favorite resources that probably is one of the least known resources that we have for our digital lending. It's called Hoopla.
I love Hoopla.
We always say when Fred was here, it was always Hoopla. There you go. Thank you, Mark. I was like, I need my sound effect. So Hoopla is a digital lending asset that we have as part of the Delaware County District Library, like digital lending family. You download Hoopla as an app. You just put your library card into it. You create an account. And the wonderful, magical thing about Hoopla is that everything that's available on there that you see, you get right now. So there's no waits. But the way that they counter that is that you can only check out, 6 things at a time over the course of a month. So if you check out your 6 things over the month, then you just have to wait until the month resets, and then your 6 things come back right on the first of the very next month. And it is by a calendar month, not like if you start on the 15th, it ends on the 15th. So it's a really cool resource. It not only has audiobooks and ebooks available right now, but it also has music and comic books. And so I'm obsessed with Kelly Clarkson's new album. It's called Chemistry. It was just released, and she has a song that's been released on the radio right now that's called Mine. And oh my gosh, like I don't obsessively listen to songs like you just over and over and over. You have it on replay. This one I did, and I was like, I have to conquer it. I have to memorize all the lyrics. I have to, be able to sing all the parts, all the harmonies. That was the level obsession with this song. And so if you go to Hoopla, it has very new, very popular, very current music like Kelly Clarkson Chemistry album. So you can go to Hoopla, you can download that. That counts as one. The whole album counts as one of your downloads. It is a short borrow period. I think music is only about 7 days or so, but you can listen the poop out of it for 7 days.
And learn all the harmonies.
And learn all the harmonies, do everything, and you get the whole album. The whole album is a joy. It is a gift to music. There's some special guests at the end of it. The 13th track features Steve Martin. If you know Steve Martin, you might know him from SNL and comedy. But if you know him a little bit more deeply, you also know that he is a very talented musical artist. Also with Martin Short and their little banjo gig that they've got going on. And then on the final track, it features Sheila E. So there's just a lot of fun collaborations, a lot of beautiful songs. Gave me a deeper dive into my obsession with Mine. And of course, if you know a thing or two about Kelly Clarkson, she's got a Vegas stay happening right now. And so if you're going to see her in Vegas, I'm jealous. The stay is going from July 28th to August 19th. And so you can binge all this and all of her albums on Hoopla.
The thing that I really love about Hoopla, road trips, Hoopla is so great. In addition to music, they also have the ebooks and the audiobooks. So you can hook up your audiobook if your kids like Harry Potter, or if they haven't listened to Harry Potter before or something like that. you've got hours of your road trip covered.
Planned.
It's
Yes,
the
exactly.
best.
It is a great resource. And so, yeah, you download the app, you connect your library card, and it's perfect for everyone. So we just have like so much energy in the studio this morning. I said we're a beautiful studio of ladies and Mark. And you know, if you can't catch us on Facebook Live because it's not up, catch us on the podcast and we'll put a picture and it'll be beautiful. So anyway, this is Off the Shelf. We're so happy to have you, hosted by the Delaware County District Library. I'm Nicole. I'm here with Jana this morning.
Hello.
Not your usual Molly, but we are happy to have Jana while Molly is out and busy this month. And then this morning in the studio, as I mentioned, the wonderful ladies of SourcePoint. We have Laura, Community Engagement Manager. Good morning.
Good morning.
We have Chelsea, the Administrator of Community Programs.
Good morning.
Hello. And then Allison's taken a step away because she only got roped in for the books, Director of Communications and Development. Hi, Allison.
Hello.
Off to the side there. So we have like an excellent partnership with SourcePoint. Not only do we mention you in our Mature Reader newsletter and all sorts of other things, and we just come to each other's events and see each other out and about in the community, but you are bringing some of your experts to some of our buildings for some really awesome programs. So can you talk a little bit about this first one coming up on Thursday, July 27th, 1 o'clock at the Delaware Main Library? It's called Falls Free Zone. So tell us about what is a Falls Free Zone?
So SourcePoint developed a modules to address falls prevention. Because as you may know, unintentional falls among older adults are a leading cause of injuries in Ohio. So our falls-free zone modules include various aspects. The one that's happening on July 27th is community safety and action planning. And this presentation teaches how to maintain safety in the community and the importance of planning in advance to decrease the risk of falls outside of the home. And so that's going to be at the main branch, as you said, on Thursday, July 27th, 1 to 2 p.m.
Can you give us like a sneak preview? How would I plan in advance a fall that I might have in the community? What could be a risk that I want to look for?
One of the things you might consider are, like if you use a mobility device, that it's accessible at the places that you're going to attend. Do they accommodate folks that use mobility devices?
Oh, sure. So is the actual place where you're going to be accessible for your mobility device? And then I even think in our libraries, we have some assistive devices as well if you didn't bring it with you, or if you walk in and you decide you need one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's very helpful. So this is an hour-long presentation. We do have registration for it on the Delaware Library website. I believe it's probably also on the SourcePoint website. And so delawarelibrary.org/event, and you can go over to July 27th and register for that. We also have, you guys have excellent insurance specialists who help with the wild world of Medicare. So we're in the last two classes in a 3-part series that we've had this summer, and these last two classes are going to talk about some of the Medicare plans. So how do those work?
So we start our Making Sense of Medicare series with a new to Medicare class, and as you mentioned, we're moving now to the second two series. In that the second two classes in that series, and you can jump in at any time. But the first one is option 1, and it's an interactive workshop. And in this one, you learn more about Medicare supplements and Part D plans. You'll use the Medicare Plan Finder tool, which is on Medicare.gov, to find Medicare supplement and Part D drug plan rates tailored to your individual needs. And we ask that folks bring a complete list of your medications, and also if you have a tablet or a laptop or a device of some sort so you're familiar with looking up these plans on your own device.
Oh, that's very helpful.
And so for people who are not super comfortable going out to the website and finding that on their own, you have an expert there who can walk them through, here's where you go, and here are your options.
Yes, and so the class size, we keep it intentionally small, and we have our insurance specialists at the class as well as some of our OSHIP certified volunteers. So there's a lot of one-on-one opportunity for help.
Oh, that's great.
That's great.
This one does take place at our Ostrander branch library. And it's going to be, it's Ostrander, if you haven't been there, it's just such a beautiful little neighborhood library. And so the small class size and the intimate help that you're going to get with the folks from SourcePoint, it's the perfect setting. Just chef's kiss.
Absolutely.
Yes, you'll find those on the part, let's see. The first part is July 26th at 10 at Ostrander, and the second part is August 9th at 10 at Ostrander. And again, you can find those on DelawareLibrary.org/event and also on SourcePoint. All of these classes are free to the public.
Yeah. I'm going to jump in and talk a little bit more about the one that's happening on August 9th.
Go for it.
It's the option 2. So in the Medicare world, that is Medicare Advantage.
Okay.
And in this interactive workshop, then you'll learn more about Medicare Advantage plans. And once again, you'll use the Medicare Plan Finder tool to complete Medicare Advantage plans, benefits, costs, and provider networks. All important when you're making your decisions about which plan is best for you. And once again, bring a medication list and a device that you might have available to look these things up.
Right. And I don't want to let it slip that SourcePoint, you do serve the 55 and older community in so many wonderful ways, but you also serve their caregivers as well. So if you're listening to this and you are a person who cares for someone who might be preparing to go through this, are they allowed to come as well?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for bringing that up. We do we do ask for people to register so we can prepare properly for the class. And you can register at mysourcepoint.org. And if somebody that has not reached 55 and better yet needs to come along, they are certainly welcome to come.
That's really awesome. Jana, I want to give you a minute to give a plug for one of the cool things that we've been doing at the library with the Mature Reader. This is your pet project, and I love it so much.
It is my pet project, and I love it too. I'm glad you love it.
Yes.
The Mature Reader is our e-newsletter for the 55 and better community. We talk a lot about things that are going on at SourcePoint, at preservation parks, adult programs at the library, areas of our website that might be of interest, and things that the 55-plus community might not realize that we offer that they would be really, really interested in. For example, last month, one of our features was about the culture passes that we offer, and people were really interested in those, I know, because there were a ton of clicks.
You see the clicks?
And the culture passes allow you to check out a free pass either to Franklin Park Conservatory or the Columbus Museum of Art. And those will make you a member for a day without having to pay anything. You can go take advantage of those resources. So we talk about things like that. Comes out once a month. We do have a Mature Reader area of our website as well, so where you can find out all of those great things that you can access through the library. And you can also sign up for the newsletter there.
Yeah, and it's just a great thing that we have in Delaware County where all of our agencies just partner so well together. Chelsea, it seemed like you wanted to jump into something. What do you have over there?
Well, one thing that we definitely want to make the community aware of is that we offer scholarships for all of our programs. So SourcePoint wants every eligible adult to be active, and we believe that financial barriers should not stand in the way of that. Scholarship is available for SourcePoint participants who meet eligibility requirements. So if financial assistance could help you engage in the community programs more fully, you definitely should reach out to our customer service supervisor, Annette Leatherman. I know she's probably listening, so we'll give her a shout out.
Thanks, Annette.
But for our scholarships, there are 50% and 100% scholarships available depending on your need. But keep in mind that our trips, massage therapy, and personal training are only limited to 50% assistance. So,
Oh, my trips.
but it's
Massage
I know trips.
Massage.
I know.
Wow.
My ears perked up.
Yeah, I have a minute before I'm in that community, but that sounds great. Yes. I'm trying to convince my parents, Mom and Dad, come to Delaware. Your grandchildren miss you.
Well, and food always brings people too, and we have an amazing cafe.
Yes.
So if you haven't come to eat at SourcePoint, you should definitely check that out.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Laura, Chelsea, and Allison, for all being our guests this morning. We are going to take like the last 60 seconds and give a quick look at some of the things happening at the library this week. Don't forget, last week we talked with Mackenzie about the jigsaw puzzle swap that is coming up this week. So these are
exciting.
These are your drop-off days, Monday through Friday, and then Saturday is the actual is when the actual swap begins. But what else is happening, Jana?
I have to give a plug to the Farm Animal Petting Zoo. And that is
Today.
actually today at
Yes.
2:30 p.m. So if you have little kids, this is always popular. It's going to be super fun. So get out there and pet some fuzzy little animals.
It's at the Orange Branch Library, and it is so much fun. They usually have like turkeys and bunnies and ducks, and
It's adorable.
It's a joy.
Yeah.
Of course, we have the Medicare classes that we've talked about. Also, in the same way, we have the Men's Alzheimer Caregiver Support Group. This is led by Alzheimer's experts. That's Thursday, July 27th from 10:30 to 12, and that's at the Orange Branch Library. So we are moving and shaking at the library, moving and shaking here on Off the Shelf. We're so happy that everyone joined us to listen this morning, that you guys joined us in the studio. So thank you, Jana, for being my co-host these last 3 weeks.
It has been a joy.
It has been
Anytime.
a joy. Yes. And
Anytime.
thank you, Mark, for standing in at the board today.
Absolutely.
And thank you, SourcePoint, for being with us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Next week, Molly will be back. And until then, we will see you in the stacks.